he said Gambia was not ready for self-rule. That's why he also went all out to campaign against the referendum, both referendums, and the 1965 referendum and the 1970 referendum. He campaigned for all of them not to go through. But fortunately for him, 1965 he succeeded, but 1970 he did not succeed in that the country went into republic.
Was he right when he said the Gambia was not ready to rule itself?
Well, he was not right. He was not right because it was not only him. Even the British were skeptical. The British, that's why it was discussed at the conference in 1964 that Gambia should make so that they try and have an affiliation with Senegal. But the politicians then were not keen in going to that. So the British, together with some Western powers, encouraged the United Nations to set up a commission. That commission is going to look at all the modalities that can make it possible for Gambia to have an association with Senegal. Because they said the size of the Gambia, economically, politically, will not be able to make it. They have to join forces with a powerful nation, particularly a powerful neighbor like Senegal. But their recommendation, of course, of the commission was to have an association with Senegal. But the politicians still insisted that they will have their own way. They will not have any association. Of course, there will be that collaboration as neighbors, that collaboration as cultural, social partners. But politically, there will be not that unification between Gambia and Senegal. Gambia will go as a sovereign state. And they have done a lot, particularly the civil service of the First Republic. They try very hard because they had it at the back of their mind that if we do not work hard, then many people will laugh at us since they have said that we will not make it by any means. Yeah.
So that was like a motivation, and they did it well.
Yeah.
Well, next thing that I want to ask is, Gambia has been under the British rule for many decades. So what did it mean to Gambians to be independent?
Well, the British, in the real sense of the word, neglected too many areas, because even education, if you go into letters of various villages, particularly villages where chiefs were, because those were the first that have primary schools. Those schools that were instituted, for instance, in Sukuta here, in Gunjur, in Birkama, in any other district where the head chief was living, they made their own initiative with the budget of the district tribunal to establish a school. So if they did not do that initiative, those schools will not be established. And those are right there. The papers are there. If you go into the archives, you come across them. It was the villagers themselves who took up the initiative to have primary schools in their villages. So there was a widespread neglect in the provision of education under the British. When it comes to health centers, virtually some districts have no health center, neither health post. The health posts in some districts were initiatives of the villagers themselves. So virtually the British did not have much interest in the promotion of health. When you look at agriculture, the Gambia, in history, Gambia was a rice-growing country. That's why slaves, the slave traders made Gambia their target, because they know that Gambians were able to know all the agricultural expertise in growing rice. And Gambian slaves, if you go to Virginia, because Virginia in the New World, in America, Virginia is the rice-growing center. So the Gambian slaves are sent straight away there so that they can contribute their expertise in the growing of rice. But the British selfishly changed the growing of rice into cash crop. So cash crop, therefore, because they introduced the payment of taxes, obviously the main folk were rice growers. But since tax was introduced and rice was not a cash crop, groundnut was introduced as the cash crop, therefore they have to abandon the cultivation of groundnut, rice, for groundnut in order to have money to be able to pay taxes. So that was their main focus of their main focus, because groundnut was useful to them. Groundnut feed as the raw material for their factories. Therefore, the men had to abandon the rice growing and go into groundnut growing in order to have money to pay for their taxes. So there was a widespread neglect in these key important development indicators, such as education, health, and agriculture, as far as the British colonial rule was concerned.
Having been under the British rule for so many years, what impact do you think, if you look back from 1965 up to date, the British have on the Gambia?
Well, if you look at that end, we historians will say we have both positive and negative impact of colonialism. But in very short term, I'll say Gambians were able to progress positively, and because the medium of instructions the British left with us, which is English language, becomes an international language. So for Gambians, it was not a big deal to progress rapidly in English language and then go anywhere into the world and have appointment everywhere, even in French-speaking countries. Gambians go there with their English and have appointment. So that is a positive impact. But when we look at the other side of it, the lack of education has retarded a lot of progress of the Gambia. For instance, by the time of our independence, only 2 Gambians had doctorate degree. The first lady to have doctorate degree was Dr. Florence Mahoney. She was the first Gambian, and a lady for that matter, to have the doctorate degree. After her, then Dr. Lamin Marena. These were the first 2 Gambians, and the only 2 Gambians before independence with their doctorate degree. So therefore, all other Gambians with their doctorate degree, with their master's degree, with their bachelor's degree, it was after independence, not before independence.
So from 1965 up to date, do you think the Gambia is doing well on its own?
Gambia did very well. Many people said we will not make it. Even the UN recommended that if we do not associate with Senegal, we will not make it. But here are we now. We have gone a long way. We have all the apparatus of development. We have been tapped at our back most of the time in international fora. So Gambia is a recognized sovereign state all over the world. It has been doing its parts in almost all global global issues that need to be contributed by any sovereign states. We have seen widespread participation of Gambians in various peacekeeping missions, and the successes are always shown to the people. And the Gambians also have been manning various important positions in various parts of the world. We should remind ourselves, a Gambian has risen to the position of Assistant Secretary General in the United Nations and various high-profile positions in international organizations. So all these Gambians had their education after independence, in post-independent Gambia. So after independence, Gambia have gone a long way in achieving its sovereignty.
On Independence Day, when we held our flag high on the 18th of February, especially now that we are going to celebrate it this Monday, 48th anniversary of our country's independence, who are the people you think we should remember on Independence Day for their struggle and fight for the attainment of the independence of the Gambia?
Yeah, we should remember there was this union leader. His name is not, much of the time, his name is not mentioned in public forum. This Gambian Workers' Union leader by the name M.E. Jallow. M.E. Jallow was